Good morning, everyone. This is Mighty Stream, and today is August the 25th. I'm going to do your spiritual principle a day before I get into my own NA meeting that starts at 9 o'clock. So I'm kind of rushing here trying to get to my home group. However, I wanted to greet you today and make sure that we stay focused, stay on task, right? Do the things that you've been doing, be consistent. So I wanted to get in here and do our spiritual principle a day. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation. This is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. So how are you doing? I hope that you're having a beautiful morning. Let's see, I feel like once I fire things up, it seems like everything's moving forward just fine. I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me and listening and sharing this with others. I think it's important to have someone that is able to speak into your life, maybe not so directly like a sponsor, but someone that you enjoy listening to and that is talking about things that are similar, things that we all share. Pretty much of the world over, we all are reading the spiritual principle a day. We're reading the Just for Today NA meditation. We're reading the Gray Book. We're reading our basic text. So we have some common literature here. And I think it's important for us to be able to share with each other. Today is August the 25th. And the title of this is A New Meaning for Love. How do we go about getting love and where our defects come into play? How we go about getting love is where our defects come into play. Let me emphasize that. In a step working guide, step 6, our defects of character, very much related to our other reading. Before coming to the fellowship of NA, we had a distorted sense of both giving and receiving love. Now that we're clean, we've got all figured out. We've got it all figured out. If only that were true. It doesn't matter how much time we have clean or what type of love we are talking about. Love is a serious business that requires vigilance. Where and how do we addicts go looking for love? When we write our inventories and listen to those of our sponsees, that question is answered in abundance. We hear many stories of unmet expectations, abandonment by parents and partners, abuse and neglect. Others are about relationships sought, gained, and sustained through manipulation and passive aggressive behaviors, and sometimes coercive acts. We hear about love being confused with the exchange of sex, money, and of course, drugs. We did those things to others, and others did them to us. And many of those behaviors will appear in future inventories because our defects of characters will rear their ugly heads again. The difference is that in NA, we have the opportunity to seek and express love in ways that are manifestations of our assets rather than our defects. In NA, we get to experience the unconditional love of the fellowship. We learn how to love and care for people in the rooms, and we learn how to accept that same love and care from others. Also, we will have abundant opportunities outside the rooms to apply the principles of love. Through working the steps honestly and thoroughly, we are far less likely to try and manipulate and control others or let ourselves be manipulated and controlled. I am learning new ways to give and receive love. I don't have to act on my defects to experience love anymore. I will try to love those in my life with acceptance instead of expectations today. To me, this is an amazing reading. For some reason, as soon as I finished that, I said, instead of expectations today, I saw a picture of a curly-headed guy that stands down here a few blocks away from me in the center of town at the stoplight. and he stands there and he runs up and down however many cars are actually, willing to unroll their window and give him $1 or $2. And he moves from this position of it looks like a wheelchair or a pushing cart of some sort that he uses to stabilize himself, and he can turn around and sit on it, right? And so he jumps up, and when he jumps up, it's the most amazing thing. You don't see any disability there. He doesn't look physically challenged, but he's moves really, really quick because he knows that the light is about to change. And those people that are going to give him some money, panhandling, right? Those people that are going to give him some money are not going to just sit there when the light turns green. So he has to hustle. And depending on how many giving spirits are there that day, he will move back and forth from that chair at every red light, going back and forth, running to get that money. And you know what I thought to myself? Those people that are giving him money, they're not interested in what he does with it. There might be the assumption that he may be using drugs, but nobody cares. No one cares. Everyone is on their way to work. 9 times out of 10, they've gone this direction thousands of times. And maybe yesterday they didn't give anything, but today they want to give something. Those people that unroll, they put their windows down and give that $1 or $2, or sometimes very large bills, right? When they give him that money, they're not concerned. The only thing they're concerned about is the transference of this currency so that it makes them feel good. It doesn't have anything to do with that person. It might benefit them. It might not. They might use it to get a room. They might use it to pay a bill, a mortgage. I've seen some very appearance-wise well-to-do individuals do the exact same thing because there's something that has come up financially and they need some money. The person giving it could care less. All those cars sitting there, as soon as the light turns green, they are not going to sit around, hold traffic up to make sure he gets that $1 or $2. But if he can get to them while the light is red, they're going to give it to him. And once they give it to him, they go on with their married lives. Let love be like that. Yeah. The people in your life that you are called to love, if you're loving them and you have all these expectations of what they need to do as a result of you loving them, that's an unhealthy expectation. It's unhealthy in the sense that when they don't do it, you are going to be highly upset. Let love be something, a currency that we give away without having a demand on how the person receiving it is going to use it. For all you know, that man is stocking that money up and he might be wealthier than any of us. For all you know, the person that you're flowing your love out as a currency into them may be reserving that for something that they're going to definitely need at a later date. The meaning, a new meaning of love, right, is the ability to care for others in unconditional love without demanding or expecting them to do anything to receive it or with it. This acceptance that how you operate and how I operate are two different forms. When I'm dealing with my husband, you better believe there's some expectations that you're going to, at the very minimum, fulfill the role of a husband, like I'm fulfilling the role of a wife. But as we move through aging together, after all these years, we're finding that our roles are affected more because of our health. And our output is different. Now, the stuff that he used to be able to do, we have to hire someone to come in and do. And the things that I used to be able to do, I need the kids and him to assist more, or I have to hire out, right? So it kind of changes, but the substance of that does not change because we're married to death do us part, right? So we're married. That I'm not talking about that kind of expectation, a core value. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from a more manipulative sense. If I do thus and so, you need to do thus and so. Let's change that. Let's pick one relationship. I want you to pick one relationship, and I want you to put in your journal August 25th, and then the same heading, a new meaning of love, dash the person's first name. And then I want you to go through and say what you've been doing, write down how you've been loving them and what the expectation has been, how manipulative it has been. And then, and it may not necessarily, that might be too strong of a word, but what sort of expectation? When I do so and so for so and so, I expect for them to speak to me a certain way. I expect for them to be available, seeing how they use in my car. I expect them to be able to come at my beck and call and do thus. Write down what these unhealthy expectations are. You should expect for your children to speak to you respectfully. I think that's a core value many of us have. I'm not talking about that. And nor do I think that you will withdraw your love if they didn't, but maybe you need to withdraw your interaction with them on a day-to-day basis if they're constantly being disrespectful, right? You don't need that energy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff you do expecting something back in an unhealthy way, right? Those manipulative things that you do. And then how you're going to change that. And then I want for you to have an intentional interaction with that person. And whether it be go to lunch, go shopping, come by. I just want to see you. Can you stop by the house? Whatever it is. And I want you to start practicing acceptance, right? Accepting them for who they are. And then begin to notice as you change how you interact with them, how the relationship changes, right? So this is like a test, right? And then you're going to later leave an extra sheet of paper there because you're going to come back and say test results on the top of that second sheet of paper and start itemizing. Day 1, they didn't even notice. Day 2, they asked me something strange about you. I'm not sure. I just feel more comfortable around you, right? That type of stuff I want you to itemize and then use that as your proof journal that this works for you. I've enjoyed talking to you. My name is Mighty Stream, and I am going to be talking to you tomorrow. I hope that you will have a beautiful day. I hope that you would take the day by storm and let nothing stand in your way of becoming the individual that you were created to be, living a life charged with energy and positivity. Talk to you tomorrow.